and you've heard his dulcet tones giving the forecast off and on here on Roadmap Radio. Good morning, Noah.
Morning, Tommy. How you doing?
All right, just fine. Okay, now, you dig studying the weather,
Absolutely.
yeah? And you have for, like, ever?
Pretty much when I was a kid, I was fascinated by thunderstorms, and I always loved it. I would actually have days where on summer vacation I was so bored I would watch the Weather Channel all day from the time I got up to the time I went to bed. Just because of how interesting it was to see, what's Florida getting, or maybe what's over in New York.
And then you see the big maps and you see the systems moving across and
Right.
how one movement in any direction could mean something different for somebody else.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So then, how did you parlay that interest into being you were a weather spotter, storm chaser too?
Yes.
Get into that.
When I was toward the very end of my senior year in high school, I started just posting stuff that was coming in, like thunderstorms, severe weather. I would start posting, for example, severe thunderstorm watch for Barrow County, Putnam County, until 9 p.m. And a friend came to me and said, "You do know you can create a page on Facebook?" And I was like, "Well, what's a page on Facebook? Is it like your own website?" And they said, "Kinda. I mean, it's like you create a page, name it, and people start liking it." So they suggested I try that, and I gave it some thought, and I said, "Okay, I'll give it a shot and see how I do." So I created it, and took me probably an hour to come up with a name because there were so many Illinois weather pages.
Yeah.
And so I finally thought of, well, I live in Barrow County, which is Princeton, Tuscaloosa, and the areas around us. So I said, I'm going to name it Barrow County, Illinois Weather.
Okay.
And then I continued and I started it and uploaded it and let my friends know that I created it. And I got up to 25 likes, and I'm thinking, okay, well, this is a good start. And so I just would post forecasts every morning, and whenever severe weather watch or warning would come up, I would post it, and got my friends to start following it. And then eventually, 6 years down the road now, it'll be 6 years next month, I got 4,643 people following it.
Wow.
So,
You think that after some events that have happened, the tornado in western Bureau County, especially that awesome not as in great, but awesome as in great picture of the tornado by the Walnut Water Tower, the Utica tornado, and other various weather events here. Do we take the warnings and watches as seriously as we should? Is that your observation?
well, when I went to the spotter class over at the Nazarene Church today, they said it's very surprising to the number of people that really don't take things seriously when they should. I mean, I'm not saying oh, that's bad, you're bad for, not listening to a watch. It's just like, you need to listen to, we're trying to help keep you safe. That's the number one priority of a weather spotter.
Yeah.
Is to make sure people are safe, call it into the National Weather Service, and then they can give out that warning. But I hope that one day we can come up with technology, because we're still doing it today, trying to predict tornadoes. I hope one day we can predict those, and then we'd know when to take cover and the situations that follow.
Yeah, of course, with tornado, we are already in tornado season now?
Yes, believe it or not, we are, even though it was, we've had some snow within the past week, and it's just been cold wearing your winter jacket, but it is tornado season, and it looks like temperature-wise, things are going to be kicking up.
Yeah.
So, like you said, highs in the 60s over the weekend, and then almost 70 on Monday. So that's good for us. I mean, and I like that it's sunny and it's not just like a sudden boom. You get warm temperatures. We're bringing severe weather with you.
So what's the deal with this so-called spring? I remember, a few times where in my life where winter seemed to just hang on, spring was skipped and went right to summer. Well, what was the cause of that you've seen?
Sometimes it's just the way the weather patterns are going. Like, I think I remember last year it was kind of similar to this. It wasn't as cold, but it was quite chilly still.
My conspiracy-minded Uncle Ted says it's the Russians.
Oh my gosh.
But there's just so many, it's not just what's on top of us, but the weather around the whole world affects us.
Oh
correct?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So with tornado season here, of course, we don't think probably as much as we should again because tornadoes. That's Oklahoma. That's Texas.
Right.
The so-called tornado alley. And I was living in Texas, and I managed to see a few funnel clouds just hang down, but they would never connect to become that tornado. And you just wonder what are the factors that makes it. What's that? For lack of a better term, perfect storm situation where it goes from funnel cloud to tornado.
Well, like I said, we don't fully understand tornadoes yet. They're still quite a huge mystery to us. All we know is the ingredients it would take to make one, but we don't know how the weather gets it to decide to touch down or not touch down.
So what does it take to make a tornado?
Well, you've got cold air at the top of the atmosphere, and then you've got warm air coming up, which is the can't remember the name of it right now. It's on the tip of my tongue. But the updraft.
He needs coffee.
Yeah, I need no. It's called the updraft.
Yeah.
Warm air hits from down where we are and goes up, and that creates like a mushroom cloud. And those mushroom clouds are like a signal saying, oh, that's going to be, a good thunderstorm. But then if it starts really forming over at the top and like you've got that flat line at the top of the cloud, but then you've got like puffiness coming up over it.
Yeah.
That's the sign that it's like, okay, this is going to be a big one, and we could be looking at some severe weather.
And when you see the skies getting dark, and sometimes they turn different colors.
Absolutely. I remember when
Green sky makes me freaky.
I was just about to mention that. I was gonna say I remember when I was a kid, they would say, "Oh, if the sky's green, that means tornado," and I thought that myself when I was a kid because that's what all the kids were saying. But then I learned, no, that's not true. Green sky doesn't mean a tornado. It's common for the sky to turn green during a tornado, but that just because the sky's green doesn't mean, oh, you've got a tornado coming.
Yeah. And I think what probably scares people most, me included, is the potential for high winds.
Yes.
Very high winds.
Uh-huh. I mean, we're talking very, an F5 would cause, just nothing is going to be standing.
Yeah.
When that blows through. Whether it comes through the town or not, its winds are still going to affect us. Like if an F5 hit between